Thank you. Good evening. Headphones on or headphones off? I don't know. We'll go for off. Okay. Locate. Locate is a great theme for me. It's really important in what I do. I'm an architect, and along with a person who needs a building, a design team, and a site team. Without a site, you can't do much. So. The influence on a site should really have on a project, I think, is one of the things that gives you a chance of doing actual, real, good architecture. Irina Bauman, in her book, How to Be a Happy Architect, she's from Leeds, actually, she sets out some useful rules. One of them is that they wouldn't accept any work within outside 70 miles. 70 metres of their office would be a challenge. 70 miles of their office. So that's me. I'm Maryn Thomas. I'm a chartered architect. Born and bred in the island, lived away for about a third of my life, but came back in 2010. I studied in Liverpool, and then I worked in Liverpool and Manchester. I worked for a couple of really good design practices. Did this project I worked on at Shed KM in Liverpool. Great practice to work for. They employed a lot of students in a really good studio environment. So this was a project in Salford, which was 349 terraced houses that were rebuilt as part of a regeneration project. I worked on some very small projects too, and I worked on some medium-sized projects, which is like this one, which I think was a really, really good one. So why leave this particular amazing project when it was half built to relocate, leaving a promising future, albeit in a stagnant economic climate, and come back over the water here? Well, one of my friends bought this building as a derelict shell just opposite Baltic Creative in Liverpool, and I watched him and helped a little bit as he went through the design process for doing a development himself. And it was a great inspiration for me because it felt like I could actually do something for myself. And these guys also played a part in the decision making. We're always kind of thinking of relocating back to the island, and we loved living in Liverpool. It was a hard decision to make. So we set a deadline of when the bigger one of those was going to have to go to the smallest thing had the potential to become a bigger opportunity. And before I left Liverpool, I started working on this. It was a garage, actually, for my friend. He'd bought a house in a conservation area in Douglas. And although it's not exactly cutting edge, it did offer a really good starting point, and one that continues to reward us with kind words and even new clients. And we still quite like it. I mean, there's not a lot to it, but it's visually strong, and the materials are about the site, and the form of it even comes from part of the house. So 6 months after I moved over, I set up in practice with Karen Horncastle. She was the design and project architect for this building in St. John's. And we resolved to treat every job, no matter how small, with the same kind of care and consideration. And it always starts with what we get from a site. Now, we've been going about 7 years now, and doors slowly continue to open. This house is all but finished, and that's a project actually we got from a chap I met when we were working on that garage. He liked the way we'd thought about it and wanted us to look at his project. We're exploring ideas here of place in relation to the specifics of the site and location, and we think that these are simple ideas that you can see. We're trying to work in relation to the vernacular, which, simply put, is the tradition of building deeply rooted in a place through the use of local materials and the basic response to a local climate. Modern building practices don't really tend to relate to those traditions, but the thing we like most about traditional Manx buildings is that they're built so simply, they look so simple, and that lack of detail has a resonance with the sorts of modern architecture that architects like. So there seems to be a strong connection to us in a visual sense that allows the traditions of the past and of this place to resonate and connect with what we think new and current architecture could look like. Combined with that, we're creating modern spaces appropriate to the day that connect strongly to the site and to the landscape. We've done a fair bit of heritage work as well. This one was finished last year for Manx National Heritage and let to Costa Coffee. It's a registered building, but a commercially led approach been taken to its redevelopment to protect its future. And it's considered particularly important in relation to the harbourside views of the castle. But the work we've done doesn't mimic or hark back to a fabricated past. Oh dear. Yeah, it's clearly new, the stuff we've done, the bits we've added, the big bifold doors and the windows to the side, and they connect back to the place really. You know, the views of the harbour and the fact you can sit and have your coffee overlooking the harbour in what was a yard before. At the moment we're helping deliver the project going on at Douglas Market Hall. The interior's been designed by a very good London practice and we're getting the thing built. It's a full-time job for Karen at the moment. But it's another modern project in a protected building, and we're really excited to be involved in it. The other thing I've got to mention is SOFA, the Society of Architects. I helped set this up in 2013 to try and get architecture and good design on the agenda on the island by holding events like that one at Noah Bakehouse and exhibitions. And it's something that I just wouldn't have done anywhere else. I wouldn't have done it in Liverpool. And I think that's for a few reasons. In a sense, because of the scale and I think the autonomy of this place, the opportunities are there if you want to take them and if you're prepared to work for them, really. And because it's the place I'm from, it's really important to me to try and share the subject that I believe so strongly in and I'm kind of passionate about. Last slide is the smallest project. It's a rough site model for a TT Marshall shelter that we designed. And to me, it just shows how important it is for us to work in this place and landscape, and we can be happy not designing statement buildings, but kind of working on a scale that's nice to talk about, we can all relate to, and just trying to make our work as relevant and good as it can be. Thank you very much.